Okay, we are discussing about the web server responsibilities. So the responsibility of the web server is handling the HTTP connections. Okay, so that is request and response, and responding to the request for the static and dynamic pages. So static pages, you'll be going to search for some data, that data you'll be going to get it, and again there will be request and response will be there. Then dynamic pages, so entry will be done from your side and the calculations is going to be done and the response should be given. So like this it is going to have both static and dynamic responses. Okay, then managing the permissions, yes, it is must, it is, because unless you have to be get authenticated, you cannot be able to access that particular site. Okay, example is e-commerce site. You can see that seeing there is no problem at all, but when you wanted to purchase those items, then you should be get authenticated over there. Okay, that is the permissions, accessibility should be given. Then encrypting and compressing the data. Always whenever that you'll be going to purchase any data, so you'll be going to make some transactions, money transactions will be there in that. Okay, you'll be going to purchase that online only. So when transactions are done, it should be get encrypted. Okay, it should not seen to others basically. Then compressing the data, as more data is going to be involved in that, and process is going to be more, and what happens is that if that data is getting compressed, it is going to be better usage that you can able to do it. So for that, there is one of the responsibility of the server. Managing multiple domains and URLs. You can see that once you open any website, you'll be going to click one or two things automatically. It is the URLs, you'll be whenever you'll be going to click the URLs, more than one, it appears over there. So it is nothing but you are giving to a number of locations simultaneously, and simultaneously you can able to watch those things. Means it goes to the multiple destinations, domains, and it is going to be get executed over there. That also it has to manage. And managing the database connections. Yes, once the database, once you will be going to request where that particular file is going to be, that you should search, and from that location that you fetch and you should give. So these things are going to be get managed by the database connections also you should manage. So connection should open, then after you are reading and all these things, that connection should close it. Then after managing the cookies and state. So whenever that you will be going to open the websites, the cookies are going to be there in that. Okay, and the session is going to start. When you'll be going to close that one, session is going to close and cookies are going to be present. There are two types again. Okay, we'll be going to discuss these things in the next chapter. Okay, one is persistent data and another is browser data. So browser data, whenever it closes, immediately that cookie is going to be deleted. But in the persistent data, that data is going to be present in your system. So the use of this cookie is, it is good only because if you're going to store some passwords or some data in that, what happens is existing current data location only that it is going to be present in database and in your system only. Okay, so that system's data only it is going to be taken and immediately that it's going to getting posted on the screen. For example, we say that yahoo.com is there. Yahoo.com, if you go and first time, it is going to be displayed on the screen. Okay, and that cookie is going to be stored in your system, and you will be going to delete all the cookies. Okay, all the cookies you have to delete. Then again you request for the yahoo.com. It is going to take a lot of time to display on the screen. Now the data is being stored. Close that browser. Again you run. Again you ask for the yahoo.com. Immediately it is going to respond. The reason is already in your database that particular file, that first file, the index file of that image file of that what we can say yahoo.com is going to be present, and immediately it is getting displayed over there. Okay, that is the advantage of this cookies. Uploading and managing the files, always it is important. Nowadays everything is going to be online. Every data is going to be available in every data sites. Okay, so for example, if you are going to consider government database files, okay, so it is going to be available on the government's websites. Okay, For example, your transport department, if you're going to consider, all the data you can able to store it in the gov.in. So in the Google site, if you go transport department, so there you can able to see that the domain name, under that particular domain you can able to store the files, and also you can upload and download the data. That is possible in server side. Okay, to make these things we need some server, right? So in your system that you can able to install for execution of your programs. Okay. That is a LAMP server is there here. Okay, LAMP is a stack. It is. What is LAMP? Basically, LAMP is a software stack. It is, which contains there are 4 programming concepts. Okay, is a Linux operating system is one. Apache web server is there. MySQL database is there. PHP scripting language. All together it is called as LAMP. It is a stack. It is going to be. Okay, LAMP. Okay, fine. Now, how this is going to work actually? Apache and Linux. You can consider over here the example, or we can say this diagram. HTTP request is going to be given, and the responses that is going to be taken from this, and the port is going to be used as a 8080 port. It is going to be. Okay, this is a web server. It is. So PHP is there here. Program on the initialization, configuration, then the access files. Okay, htaccess files are there. This is a Apache server. It is going to be. Here is a Linux. This is the operating system. Programs are going to be get executed by the using the PHP. It is. Now, when a request is going to be made, okay, the server is going to get activated. Which is that server? Is the Apache server. It is. Consider the Apache server as a intermediary between the in terms of HTTP request, and archives arise through the network port. This is a 8080 network port, and decides how to handle that particular request, which often requires a working of the conjunction with the PHP. So it is nothing but with the PHP program, this is going to get executed. The request is going to get executed. How this is going to execute? Apache runs on daemon on the server. Nothing but a daemon means the instance of the program. It is. Okay. Daemon is a executing instance of a program. This is nothing but a process. One request came. That request, what we should do? That is the process that it is going to do it. That runs in the background, waiting for the specific event that will activate it. What exactly that should happen? What? See, that's what the activation links will be there. Activation code is there. So by using those things, that it is getting executed in that. When a request arrives, Apache that uses the modules to determine how to respond to that particular request. It's nothing but one request has been done. So send that there are super global variables are there. Next you can learn those things. The request is going to be need that destination's server name requested. So that particular module is going to get executed on that. Which module that it is, which server name that it is asking, it is going to check that. So based on that, that is going to display over there. Okay, it's going to respond to that. The Apache is a module that is compiled extension. Okay, usually there is a C code is being used for that. That Apache helps to handle this particular request. Okay, for this reason, these things are also called as handlers. These things are also called as handlers. Okay, this Apache works with 2 modules. Okay, or we can say 2 types of modes. One is multi-process mode, and another is multi-threaded mode. Multi-process mode is going to be preferable. It is going to be, okay. It is nothing but a pre-forked, okay, pre-forked operation that it is going to work. Default instruction is going to be shown over here. It is a multi-process mode. It is multi-threaded setup, and it is a multi-process. It's a pre-forked setup. Means before that only it is going to access that particular data, and it is going to get executed over there. Okay, pre-forked it is going to be. Apache, there are so many processes are going to be present here.